I'm gonna play a piece of music for you in just a second, but first I want to discuss its relevance to paint a picture of what this song was to me. A while back, a YouTuber by the name of LS Mark released a video called Nostalgia Induced Loneliness, which is a great video that I would recommend watching. There's a point where he starts talking about pieces of music from games that scared him as a kid, first talking about a track from Mario Galaxy before stating that there was another song that scared him as a kid. And the first time I saw this, I had this weird moment where I already knew what he was about to say. Out of all of the fucking video game music out there, I was able to guess what was coming because it's the one video game track that managed to also scare and upset me as a kid. That being the History theme from Sonic Mega Collection. Mark does a great job going over it, but the reason I even bothered to make a video on it is I actually do think I understand why this bothered me so much as a kid. It's partially the way the song sounds and partially the contents of the section of the game it's used for. Sonic Mega Collection has 4 different menus: games, extras, options, and manuals. Games and manuals play this pretty generic menu music, nothing too noteworthy, but extras and options play this music that honestly kinda catches you off guard with how dramatic it sounds. The track again is called History, and it's fitting for the extras page since it allows you to go through different trailers and movies from the games, look at old artwork from the series, and most notably every single cover from the Archie comics at the time the game was released, as well as letting you read the first few issues entirely. It's an awesome feature, but the music did kind of leave a level of discomfort for me, which is a little bizarre because at the end of the day I do think it's a beautiful track. It's very unique and probably one of my favorite pieces of music from the entire series now, but there's always just been something kind of off about it. Alright, I'm gonna play it now. The name History insinuates some kind of celebration of Sonic's past. The question I have to ask you is, does this music make it seem like it's a positive look back at Sonic's past? Why does it sound so sad? I think part of the reason it got to me as a kid is because I would have never expected to hear something like this while looking at the menu of a Sonic game. But I think an even bigger part of it was some of the content of the extras page. The comics section specifically. See, I wasn't too familiar with the Archie comics when I first picked up this game. Outside of some Google image searches in the past where I didn't even really know what I was looking at, this was my introduction to these comics. And some of these covers paired with the music were just really depressing to me. I think it helps that we've got that weird Ken Penders art style for a lot of these, although to give them some credit, I think Ken Penders' style always looked better on covers than in the actual comics. Probably just more time to properly shade the characters and make these weird designs emote better. The Archie comics were not shy when it came to doing different stories of Sonic. A lot of that was Ken Penders, but not all of it. The beloved Ian Flynn wrote a story where my boy Fang murders a couple members of his crew in prison by poisoning them. That's way too evil and competent of a thing for Fang to do, come on. Out of all of these comic book covers, there was one that really took the cake in terms of disturbing me and making me want to put the game down, or at least not return to the extras menu. And looking back, I'm pretty sure it's one that was supposed to be funny. Like, this wasn't supposed to upset anyone. This was a joke. I don't know. This one just made me upset. It made me think about things I didn't want to think about. I wonder if anyone who actually owned this game is going to be able to predict which one I'm talking about. What topic could the Sonic comic cover that would upset a child? Well, 3, 2, 1, there you go. You can't fucking kill Sonic, what the fuck? Yeah, this image paired with the music kept me off this menu for a while. Hell, it kept me off the options menu too, I just didn't want to hear the music. It really did put me in this weird state that day. Worst part is this issue's kind of a stupid one on top of everything. Like, you have Tails crying on the cover, but in the issues he's calling bullshit on the whole thing. I refuse to believe that my buddy Sonic is dead. Get real, Tails. Are you sure that's how you want to address a 5-year-old who's dealing with death for the first time? Honestly, Sonic Sonic is the one more bummed out in this comic, believing he's dead, but at the end of the comic, it's just revealed he was invisible the whole time. I read this comic years after stumbling upon the cover image on the extras page. Like, I swear if I could have just read it there and then, it wouldn't have bothered me even half as much as it did. But because this image is all I had to go off of, I had to fill in the blanks myself. I will say, even though they didn't kill him, this comic is a big fan of murder. Characters die in this one. That really only touches the surface of the weirdness of this fucking Archie comic, which I loved, by the way. But even then, there's so much of it I've never read. I just know it gets fucking weird. Again, Ken Penders being largely responsible for that. At the end of the day, when I listen to this music and look at all these images, it just seems kind of weird tonally. The track's really grown on me and I consider it one of the best of the entire series, but it still just feels kind of out of place here. I think tonally it's supposed to sound beautiful and inspiring perhaps, but it just kind of comes off as music you would hear when hearing bad news or reflecting on a negative memory. Maybe it could even be played at the end of a journey where a lot of tragic stuff happened, but it's at least ending on a happy note, but still one where a lot of tragic shit happened. But at the end of the day, I'm still glad they did it because it's just another one of those things I love about this franchise. They make weird choices, sometimes for the best, sometimes not for the best. I think this one's right in the middle. You get a great track out of it, but I can't say that I understand why they went with this for an extras menu. But still, what a fucking awesome extras menu. Like seriously, out of all of the collection packs, Mega Collection definitely had the most exciting bonus features. Gems was notable because it featured some weirder games like R or Fighters, and the bonus features were alright. I think that's what's missing from Origins. Although if you want to hear more of my thoughts on that game, check out a video on Chris's channel, where the two of us talked about it. You know, pre-plus. Anyways, just a side topic that I always thought would be interesting to talk about eventually. Thanks for watching.